Hey, so today I'm going to show you how to make this zippered pouch. I had someone custom order one in this vintage orange color that I've been working on. Corridor calls it rust. So you're going to need a couple of things. Your fabric, you'll need a little bit of zipper tape and a zipper pull and slider. I use these HK clips. You'll need 3 inches of webbing and a tag if you want to put that in there, and then some binding for the inside. So the fabric piece is going to be 8.5 inches by 9.5 inches. I'm using this quilting square with my rotary cutter. I'm just going to put that on 8.5 and 9.5 there. I'll just cut it without even making any marks. So a zipper, one side of the zipper taped to each side. We need to fill in these bad boys and cut that webbing. Go over to the machine. So we'll need to eventually get color thread that matches this for the top stitch, but right now black is fine. Got a little sewing gauge there, keep me at 1/4 inch, and I'm gonna stitch this right up next to the clip so it doesn't get turned around or anything like that. And then we are going to stitch our clip and a tag 2 inches from the top here. I always have to remember how this is going to go because it'll end up backwards. Yeah, so this is the correct side. So I just use a little quilting square. These things are super handy to get me a accurate gauge there. 2 inches. I like to have the gate up on this. You're going to want to stitch less than 1/4 inch from the edge. In this case, because 1/4 inch is our seam allowance, so you don't want that stitch to be visible. We'll do the same thing here, 2 inches from the top. Make sure it's perpendicular. Probably not critical to backstitch in those scenarios, but it's kind of like turn signals. If you always do it, then you never forget. We're using molded tooth zipper. On this, we're only putting 1 slider on, so you actually only need about 1 inch extra, but this is the length of piece I had hanging around, so we'll just use this and it'll be fine. I'm actually not going to stitch all the way in 1/4 inch. I'm going to stitch pretty close to the edge because we're top stitching this as well. My mouth typically goes crazy while I'm sewing, so if you notice that, don't be alarmed. I am not having a stroke. Now, one thing you'll want to do is figure out where these teeth end up at the edge here. It's not critical that you get the ends the same, but it looks like that one is just off the edge, so we'll put this one just on the edge. Doesn't have to be perfect. Again, it's pretty forgiving, but the better job you do here, the easier it'll be later. As with so many things in our lives. There we go. So what we did here is just fold this zipper tape over and fold the fabric on top of it, like a quilting square or something. Yep, that looks great, 1/4 inch. But after you do it enough, you just sort of get an eye for it, hopefully. And also by matching the top stitch color to the fabric, more or less, you have a little bit of forgiveness. Looks good. So we'll flip that over, do that on the other side. So now we got to put the zipper slider on, stitch up the edges. So we're doing this inside out because we're going to stitch it inside out. Basically, we just want these edges to meet up properly. So we're going to have to mess with this a little bit. So I'm going to go ahead and zip it all the way through and pull that slider off and stitch this side shut. I'm going to stitch it once down this side, and then we'll stitch it back the other way. So we'll end up with the binding stitching it 3 times just to get a nice strong thing going on here. Nice strong seam. Now we'll do this once more. Basically what we're trying to accomplish is having both sides zipped shut when you sew it. Yep. Alright, we got the needle swapped out. Let's try this again. I think the combination of the edge of that webbing plus the molded teeth was giving us a hard time. I'm using a lightweight 7/8 inch Rogaine ribbon for binding, and we'll do this with the guide just to keep it a little bit more symmetrical. Go ahead and backstitch that whole zipper tape just to make sure the end of that's strong, not going to blow out. Alright, so we got this little zippered pouch here. We're just going to turn it inside out now. Once that's done, I like to put on a little zipper pull here just for style and to aid a little bit. Got a zippered pouch.